Listen, so my name is Juanita Coley, as you heard. I am affectionately known in the industry as the contact center whisperer. And I got that name because I am the person they call when their contact center, their call centers are not working. I am the person that they call when they need to stand up a call center, when they want to scale out their businesses and they got all the processes, they got all the people, but they need to implement better technology, better processes, so forth and so on. And so I whisper to call centers. That's what I do, okay? So John asked me, I said, hey, John, I'm coming out there. He was like, oh man, great. You're speaking. I'm like, what you want? I talk to call centers, right, John? I talk to technology companies. He said, yeah, but I'm sure you got something to say to the people. I said, I do, of course I do. So who am I? I am a teen mom turned tech maven. I am a believer, a wife, a mother of three. I am affectionately known as the contact center whisperer. I am also Mrs. Corporate America 2022. That's not up there. I'm a lot of things. I have been voted 2022's most influential tech advisor, and I am a business owner. And from food stamps to seven-figure business owner. And so when I was thinking about the conference and what I would say to you all today, I said, man, I can only really tell you about my journey because this doesn't matter the vehicle, right? It doesn't matter if you're in insurance. It doesn't matter if you are setting out to become a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it is, right? The vehicle doesn't matter. What matters is that you create, you equip, and you own. And you'll say, Juanita, well, what are you talking about? Well, I'll take you on my journey and I'll tell you a little bit more about my journey and you'll see very quickly why I say this. So this is me. These are my children. I started out doing hair. This is a flyer I put together myself. And by the time I was 15, I was pregnant, right? And my dad said, well, if you don't have an abortion, the next time you'll see me is in my casket. And so at 15 years old, I'm making life decisions on, do I have a relationship with my dad? Or do I have my child? And so I decide, I'm gonna have this child. I'm gonna bet on me. And so I have my child, and my mom was one of those kind of moms, was like, you made your bed, you'll figure it out, right? And so I'll talk about that also a little bit here later. And so my mom was like, hey, you'll figure it out. I got faith in you. I raised you. I was raised in the church. So she was like, I raised you. You know the way. So you'll figure it out. And so I have my daughter, and I graduate sitting in a call center because I had to work, obviously, clearly, to take care of my daughter. So I'm sitting in a call center one day, and I pick up a book called Blue Pumpkin. And Blue Pumpkin is a piece of technology that powers call centers. And so I'm a call center agent at the time. I'm reading this book, and I was like, man, I think I can do this. I'm going somewhere, I promise you. I said, I think I can do this. And so I'm still taking calls. There was no opportunity at the particular time. So I learned everything that I could about workforce management. Workforce management, how many of you have ever worked in a call center? Okay, how many of you ever worked in a call center where you were given a schedule by a certain department? That department's generally called the workforce management department. That's that department that comes tap on your shoulder when you on the call, you're on a call too long, or you're on break too long, or whatever the case may be. That was the department that I was reading this book about. And so I learned everything that I could about workforce management, how to run call centers, everything you could possibly. Again, there's no job. I'm an agent on the phone. My senior year in high school had OJT. OJT is on the job training. It's when you work for high school credit. And so One day, the sister site call center was closing and said, hey, we're closing. If you want, you can go move to the Altamont Springs location. This was a location down in Sunrise, Florida. No one wanted to move. And so I raised my hand to my supervisor and I said, hey, I think I can do the workforce management department, because this is where our workforce management department was located, in Sunrise, Florida. So how this book, Blue Pumpkin, ended up in my site, I have no idea at all. Call it divine intervention. And so I said, hey, I think I can do workforce management. And to my surprise, my supervisor said, okay, sure. And I'm like, I was just joking. I don't know what I'm doing. I just read the book. I had never actually worked in the workforce management department, never had done anything in workforce management, literally had just read the book. That is all. Nevertheless, my supervisor says, yeah, Juanita, go ahead, give it a try. And so now I'm faced with managing a workforce management department in an organization I had never done the job. So I did the job, and about maybe 6 months later, a year later, my office makes an announcement, and they said, hey, we're going to be closing the location. You can move to Minnesota and keep your job, or, we'll give you severance pay. So I'm like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't know no black people in Minnesota. And it's cold. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and opt out of that, So needless to say, I did not move to Minnesota, Florida, okay? And so I found myself without a job with a new skill set and raising my daughter on my own. And so I was always just a naturally, tenacious, grit type of person. So I started doing hair. I was like, well, we got to eat. Baby need a new pair of shoes, so we got to eat. So I start doing hair. Well, maybe a year into this journey of doing hair, it dawned on me, Juanita, you have a skill set. You have a skill set that you acquired and that you have leveraged working in a contact center, in a call center. And so I began to work in and start to apply for workforce management jobs. I promise you, I'm going somewhere. I began to apply for these jobs, and so I got an opportunity to work in, I believe it was United Healthcare, it might have been Walgreens. I always get the order of operations mixed up. But nevertheless, I went to go work at United Healthcare, and I did so much work at United Healthcare. I'm actually responsible for building out their command center. So they have one in Minnesota, and they have one in Orlando, which when they bought out Connections, that became OptumRx. And so I built out that command center for them as well. And so I went to go work in these organizations like your United Healthcares, your Liberty Medicals, your Walgreens, building out their contact centers, running their workforce management departments. And I said, man, what really got me excited about this was the technology. And so I went to go and work in the technology companies like your Variants and your Aspects. And my job in these organizations were to go out to call centers, various call centers, and implement technology. So these technology companies had a piece of technology, and my job was to go to their clients that they sold the technology to and implement that technology, get it up and working. And so these are all pictures of me along my journey, okay? I'm showing you this for a reason. They say pictures are worth 1,000 words. I'm not just up here telling you what I'm telling you. This has been a journey. And so, I went and I did all these implementations, and I noticed that there was something missing. I noticed that organizations that leverage technology, how these organizations were leveraging technology and how they were actually being created to be used, there was this huge gap. And so I started a company called Solid Rock. And what we do at Solid Rock is we help companies start contact centers. We help them scale out their technology, their people, their processes, and all of those good things. And so we've built that agency or that consulting firm, because we're not an agency, but we built that consulting firm to 7 figures. And on that way to doing that, this is why I say all you need, it doesn't matter the vehicle, right? It doesn't matter the vehicle. It matters that you create, it matters that you equip, and it matters that you own. And so on my journey here, I'm at Yale, right? Teaching at Yale University, right? So how do I go from here to here? This is in Greece. How do we go from here to here? Well, what I noticed, I was talking to the CEO, this is Barack, not Obama. He's a CEO, his name is Barack Elam of NICE, a $12 billion organization. And so what we were talking about is technology and how he can show up better in organizations. But how do I go from there to here? Well, this is me in London. So I travel all around the world talking about technology and organizations and their technology. And so how do I do that? It's these 3 things. And I call it the CEO plan. Each of you are CEOs if you choose to be, whether you have an organization or not. 3 things that you need to do, and you'll write these down because you'll want to remember them. Because I'll promise you, this is all you really need. Create opportunities, okay? So regardless of the vehicle, whether it's technology, whether it's insurance, you must create opportunities. How do you do that? You stay curious. See, it was my curiosity to pick up the book when there was no opportunity. There wasn't a job posting in the call center that said, hey, you want to be the workforce manager? No. It was a book laying on a call center cubicle, and I said, wonder what that's about. See, so many times we're waiting for an opportunity, and we're not even prepared for the opportunity. You create opportunities. You create opportunities by staying curious. Always be looking, always be asking questions, always. Okay, find problems. So many times we're running from problems instead of finding problems. I'm always on the hunt for a problem. Problem, where art thou? Where are you? Because if I can find a problem, I know that I can solve it. If I can find a problem, I can solve it. If I can solve a problem, I can add value. Create opportunities. Opportunities aren't just going to fall out of the sky. They find people who are curious, they're looking for problems, and they're adding value. Okay? Equip yourself and others. So you have this opportunity. Again, I just mentioned this. You have an opportunity, but you're not prepared. You're not prepared. Why? Because you didn't equip yourself. And then for those of you that raised your hand when they said, how many of you want to build a team? You're not equipping nobody else. So you have to equip yourself and others. Okay? See, I run a consulting firm, but it's not just me. We have 20 other employees. So I have to make sure that I'm equipping them. My job as the leader is to communicate, say that with me. Your job as a leader is to communicate, remove barriers, and I forgot the other one. Just joking. Okay, it is to communicate, all right, equip them, all right, so that means make sure that you're educating, okay, always be educating, and then remove barriers. That's literally your job. That's literally your job as the leader. Communicate the vision. What is the vision? Equip them so that they can accomplish the vision. Remove barriers that hinder the vision. That's what I spend 90% of my job doing as a leader. So to equip yourself and others, you must remain coachable, okay? At every level, bring someone along. This is what I always say to my team. I'm not supposed to be doing this forever. I'm supposed to be able to pass the baton, pass the ball. If I can't do that, I have failed as a leader. If I can't leave the office, if I can't be here to do this, that means I've failed. So for those of you that are saying, hey, I want to create and scale a team, first of all, have you equipped yourself? Right? Have you put on your oxygen mask first? And then, are you equipping others? Are you in a constant state of chaos? Some people feel like they need that. They feel like, oh, I gotta be busy, I gotta constantly be. That's just because you wanna feel important. You are already important. You should be able to pass the ball, pass the baton. If you can't do that, you're failing yourself. Help others get what they want. Now, I'm sure somebody else said this, but my dad said it to me one time, and it stuck. He said, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll always get what you want. And that's my goal. My goal is to help enough people get what they want. I'll never have a need. And I don't have too many needs. Last, because I don't have that much time. I think I'm over as we speak, okay? Own. Okay, this is probably my favorite of the CEO plan, is ownership. So many times we put stuff on other people. You got to take ownership of your stuff. Okay, I could have been like, oh, yeah, I'm a teen mom, and oh, I don't have this, and oh, my baby daddy. You know, you got to make the voice shake or it ain't real. Right? I could have been that person. But I had to own my own stuff. Like, listen, this is me. I did this. And if I want something else, just like I created that reality, I could create another reality. So if you want it, you got to go get it. If you want the six-figure business, go get it. Pick up the phone. Go knock on the door. I don't care what you got to do, long as it's legal. Get it done. Take ownership. My dad used to say this as well. He said, it's two types of people that come into your life. They're either helping you meet the purpose and destiny that you have on your life, or they're hindering you from meeting the purpose and destiny that you have on your life. Period. You got to decide. And you got to decide quick. When people come into your life, when situations come into your life, things happen, because you're going to have legit distractions on this journey to building your team, to building yourself. You're going to have legit distractions, right? Stuff going to happen. Somebody going to get sick. Somebody got to go to court. Baby got to go to the daycare. Somebody got to go to the legit distractions. Nevertheless, a distraction is a distraction all the same. It's either helping you or it's hindering you. You got to figure the F out. Now, if you look at all these asterisks up here closely, you'll see that there are a couple extra there. So it's not the F that you think, okay? This F is faith. Figure the faith out. Sometimes you got to just put one foot in front of the next. See, sometimes we think that we got to have this whole big master plan. Oh, if I got this amount of leads, if I got this if I post on this day and I do this, yes, I'm the strategy queen. I got strategy, my strategy got strategy. I grew up playing chess. I love strategy. But when I tell you, sometimes you just got to go. You just got to say, okay, I'm dialing. Yes, I'm going to knock on the door. Yes, I'm going to do what it takes. Because why? I'm taking ownership. This journey is about me. You got to make it personal. Some of y'all ain't made it personal. Some of y'all still talking about, well, I'm going to do this because when I get my bag, that's about them. When I get this, I'm going, it's about the other person. You got to make this thing personal. This about you becoming a better person. You being able to provide for you. And then last, of ownership, my absolute favorite, is you have to focus. But you got to be extreme about it. And you got to not care what people think. See, because extreme ownership, extreme focus, that's a different kind of focus. That's that focus where it can be burning on the left and the right. That's when hell could be breaking loose. But I'm focused because I got my eye on the prize. I don't care what's coming. I don't care who say what. I don't care what bill ain't paid. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. And when you got that kind of conviction, when you have that kind of commitment, it got to work out because I ain't got no backup plan. This is the plan. This is the plan. I don't have no B. See, some of y'all have back pockets, oh, well, if this don't work out, I'm going to go and do. If this don't happen, I'm going to go. You can't have no plan B because this got to work. This got to work. And so when you have that kind of commitment and you have that kind of conviction, you get extremely focused. I'm going to do that. And you know what that causes? Say what? Y'all ain't say it like you wanted to know. Say what? Oh, okay. It causes you to be resilient. People ask me all the time, Juanita, how? You're on this plane to this plane to this plane. I don't know who have more flights, me or John. But how are you from this location to this location? And I'm resilient. Because it's not that it always works out. Baby, I cry. And then I cry some more. Okay? It's not that it always works out. It's that I'm resilient. Why? Because I got my eye on purpose. And until I hit the mark, and until I hit the intended mark, I'm not done. And so, yes, my bills can be due. Yes, somebody can quit. Yes, somebody can walk away. But guess what? I still got purpose to fulfill. And so I'm resilient. That's my time. Thank y'all so much.